is a wide receiver who was heavily sought after this offseason. He's improved the last 3 years of his career, getting to the Super Bowl last year with the 49ers, and he was due up for a contract. It was the last year of his contract, and now if you see everything, he got paid. He's getting $30 million a year over the next 4 years, and this guy right here is pretty much you know the number one receiver. It's Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk is a dishonorable mention this week because he's just not performing at this moment, and I wouldn't necessarily put him in the doghouse because he is rusty, but still to his standards, it's not necessarily what it should be. He's not necessarily creating separation like he should. He's fourth. He has the fourth lowest separation in the league right now at 1.89 yards per separation, which is not good, and which is a part of the reason why the 49ers are dead last in the league in yards per separation for receivers. Um, we know Debo Samuel is injured right now. Ricky Parasol is out as well. There's a lot of injuries on this team, but Brandon Ayuk is supposed to be the guy. He's the number one receiver, a guy I raved about all the time. I'm a huge Niners fan. I've been a Niners fan my entire life, and it's this is the number one receiver we haven't necessarily had in a long time. I know we've had Debo, but we haven't had a young guy come in and beat this guy. We've had guys like Brandon Lloyd, T.O., Jerry Rice, of course. We've had guys here that were pretty good. Anquan Bolden even was here for a while, but we haven't had a guy like this in a while. And right now, he's just not looking good to begin the season. Now, this is because he wasn't necessarily there during the offseason. He wasn't practicing. He wasn't doing a lot of things, but he's not making an impact that we would expect him to. And right now, that's why I'm putting him as a dishonorable mention because I just expect him to do a little bit better. Like I said, he's not in the doghouse because of the situation of him not being there in the offseason, him wanting his contract. He didn't know if he wanted to go play for the Commanders or the Steelers, and then he ended up saying that he wanted to stay. Um, he said that that's where he wanted from the beginning, but he wanted to be paid, and he got paid. So now that you got your money, you got to pay up to your contract, my man. They're paying you for what they expect you to do in the future, and right now you're not doing what you're expected to do. So you're going to be just honorable mention for this week, and you get a doghouse cry. All right, next up, this guy was told to me by some fans of F1 racing, and that he should definitely be in the doghouse. I'm just gonna put him in the dishonorable mention for right now. This will be revisited again because there is another race that's happening very soon, and if this guy doesn't win, then he's very well going to be in the doghouse more than likely. And it's a guy that I don't know if you've watched NASCAR before, but NASCAR is a different level of when it comes to racing. So you got guys like Jeff Gordon. A lot of people did not like whatsoever when it came to NASCAR racing. And Max Verstappen is kind of sort of one of those other guys. And then you had, I believe it was Jimmy Johnson was another guy that was in NASCAR racing that a lot of people didn't like because he just continued to win. And this guy in F1 racing is pretty much the same thing. Max Verstappen. Max is the guy. He's basically like the face of F1 racing if you really look at everything. And then not only is he the face, he's the guy that he just continued to win. He kept winning. He kept winning. He got his first win in 2016. He has 7 wins so far in his career this year so far. Well, not his career, but 7 wins in this year in 2024. Um, he's won races. He's won the Gulf Air Bahan Grand Prix, the Sudan Arabian Grand Prix. He won the Japanese Grand Prix, the Chinese Grand Prix, uh, the Romagna Grand Prix. He's won multiple races. However, in his last 7, he has not won. He's lost the Airways Grand Prix, the Italian Grand Prix, the Dutch Grand Prix, the Belgian Grand Prix, the Hungarian Grand Prix. His last win was June 23rd this year in the Armanco Spanish Grand Prix. He hasn't won since then. So this guy is just like he's held to a higher standard. He's one of those guys to where it's like you almost expect him to win. And right now he's not doing that. I can't punish a younger guy like Lando Norris and put him in the doghouse and not talk about the guy who's supposed to be the face of the league, the face of the sport, and not talk about how he hasn't been winning either. And not only has he not been winning, he's actually getting reprimanded for cussing for using bad language in a press conference. So he got stuff like that he got to deal with, man. So Max, man, you just got to do better. You just gotta do better. I mean, you're the face. You're the face of F1 sport. You're the one that everyone looks to when it comes to this sport. You got other guys, like I said, like Lando Norris. You got Lewis Hamilton's another guy. You got all these other guys. And even a young lady now who's in pole position in this race. You gotta win. You gotta win. Lando Norris is right there, and he could easily win the whole thing. As far as the F1 championship for this season, for this year, if he continues to catch up to you, because Lando Norris has been racing pretty well for McLaren, and you're just not doing good right now. So it's very possible that you might slip and not win it all this year, even though most people have expected you to. I can tell you right now, you're not very liked in the F1 chat that I have. So, but I haven't thought, bad about you since then. And, I'm very new to the sport. So it's something that's refreshing for me to be new to the sport and to be able to introduce you to other people who may not know about it. But Max is the guy. Max is the guy that everybody looks to. And Max, right now, man, it just ain't looking too good for you. So Max, you're gonna get a doghouse crowd, man, because you are a dishonorable mention for this week.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.